The city lights blurred into a watercolor painting from our balcony, each one a tiny, distant star we couldn't touch. I leaned against Liam, his arm a familiar anchor around my shoulders. The night air was cool, but his warmth was all I felt, for 5 years. This was my world. His laughter was my favorite song, his touch, my safest harbor. We had built a life on stolen glances, whispered promises, and a love that felt as infinite as the skyline before us. He turned my face towards him, his thumb gently caressing my cheek. His eyes, the color of a stormy sea, held a depth I could get lost in forever. He used to say my eyes were like warm honey, sweet and full of light. Tonight, though, there was a shadow in his gaze, a flicker of something I couldn't quite name. I dismissed it as exhaustion. We'd both been working so hard, him with his endless corporate battles, me trying to get my art gallery off the ground. "Remember our first date?" he murmured, his voice a low rumble against my ear. "You were so nervous you spilled wine all over my shirt." I laughed, the memory vivid and warm. "And you said it was an improvement on your fashion sense." "It was." He chuckled, his smile not quite reaching his eyes. "You've always made everything better, Elara, brighter." He pulled me closer, his lips finding mine. It wasn't our usual playful kiss. This one was different. It was desperate, consuming, a fiery brand of possession and sorrow all at once. It tasted of 5 years of memories of lazy Sunday mornings, of arguments over takeout, of holding each other through sickness and celebrating every tiny victory. It was a kiss that spoke of forever. When he pulled away, he rested his forehead against mine. His breathing uneven. "I love you," he whispered, the words heavy, laden with an unspoken weight. "Never, ever forget that." A single tear escaped as I untraced a path down his cheek. I wiped it away with my thumb, my heart aching with a sudden, sharp pang of worry. "Liam, what is it? What's wrong? You're scaring me." He shook his head, forcing a smile that was more of a grimace. "Nothing, just feeling emotional tonight. Overwhelmed by how much I love you." He kissed my forehead, a long, lingering press. "I have an early flight tomorrow. A last-minute business trip to seal the big merger. It's the one we've been working on for months." "Oh," I said, a little disappointed. "So soon? You didn't tell me." "It all happened so fast," he replied, his gaze drifting back to the city lights. "But when I get back, this will all be over. We can finally take that trip to Italy. Just you, me, and endless pasta." He painted a beautiful picture, a future so close I could taste it. The anxiety in my chest eased, replaced by the familiar comfort of his promises. We spent the rest of the evening in a quiet haze, holding each other as if it were our last night on Earth. Looking back, maybe a part of me knew it was. He left before dawn, a silent shadow slipping out of our apartment. He left a note on his pillow, his familiar scrawl a comforting sight. "I love you more than words can say, be back soon." The day dragged on. I tried to focus on work, reviewing artist portfolios for the gallery, but my mind kept drifting back to him, to the intensity of his kiss, the sadness in his eyes. I told myself it was just the stress of the merger. It was the biggest deal of his career. Of course, he was on edge. That evening, I was tidying up our home office, a space that was more his than mine, filled with files and financial journals. I accidentally knocked over a stack of papers from his desk. As I knelt to pick them up, a single folder, one I'd never seen before, slid out from underneath the mess. It was plain, manila, with no label. Curiosity, a gnawing, insistent feeling, got the better of me. My hands trembled as I opened it. Inside wasn't corporate documents or merger agreements. It was a collection of photographs. Photos of me. Candid shots, taken over weeks, maybe months. Me walking to my car. Me having coffee with friends. Me laughing, unaware I was being watched. My blood ran cold. This wasn't loving admiration, this was surveillance. Deeper inside the folder, there were printed emails. My heart hammered against my ribs as I read them. They were between Liam and a name I didn't recognize. The subject line was the asset, LR events. My name? The emails detailed my habits, my routines, my vulnerabilities. They spoke of me not as a person, but as a target. My mind reeled, trying to make sense of the nonsensical. Liam? My Liam? It was impossible. This had to be some kind of horrible mistake. But the words were there, stark and cruel on the page. They discussed how to get close to me, how to gain my trust, how my father, a federal judge who had put away some very dangerous people, was their real objective. I was the key. The leverage. Then I saw the final email, dated just yesterday. It was from Liam. It's done. I have her complete trust. She suspects nothing. The final phase will commence upon my return. The judge will cooperate once he knows his daughter's life is in my hands. The air left my lungs. The room started to spin. 5 years. Our entire relationship, our home, our future. It was all a lie. A meticulously crafted, cruel deception. Every I love you, every tender touch, every shared dream was a calculated move in a game I never knew I was playing. I wasn't his partner, I was his assignment. The note on the pillow. I love you more than words can say. The tear on his cheek. The desperation in his kiss. It wasn't a kiss of love. It was a kiss of goodbye. A kiss before the betrayal. He wasn't on a business trip. He was getting into position for the final act. I sank to the floor, the folder clutched in my hands, the photographs of my stolen life scattered around me. The city lights outside no longer looked like stars. They looked like the cold, watchful eyes of 1,000 strangers. The love of my life didn't exist. I had been in love with a ghost, a character he played with devastating perfection. The man I had given my heart to was coming back, not to take me to Italy, but to destroy my world, and he had sealed his plan with a kiss, a beautiful, perfect, soul-shattering lie. Thanks for watching. If you were moved by this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more.